are going onto the field with the idea of at least getting a draw. I think this defensive type of game is bringing more physical contact. Where you get physical contact, you're always liable to get incidents of the nature with which we're all concerned about in the game today.
You're pointing to the management then, aren't you?
Well, I think there's a lot of pressure being brought to bear on managers, and bearing in mind that a manager's job is as good as his results, obviously pressure is being brought to bear on players in this rat race for points and success.
Yes, but surely, Cliff, if the teams are playing this defensive policy, this is what the continental teams will be playing in the World Cup. And it's up to a club to try and adopt methods to try and break a defensive policy.
This is the point I'm making, Don. Players should be encouraged to show the skills and express themselves on the game. This is where I think the game is lacking today. And I think the managers are in some way responsible for this.
I wouldn't say so. I think you've got to, your players have got to express themselves, yes, but you meet many defensive problems these days, I agree, Cliff.
Yeah,
but you've got to go out through the week and try and evolve something to break down defensive policies.
There's no shortcut to...
We're talking about dirty play or defensive tactics.
Well, I think one is inclined to bring the other down,
well,
particularly if you're playing the game defensively.
I think there's a load of old rubbish talked about this, Cliff, up and down the country. I mean, we've had a bit more dirty play, but you said we live in a society that won't accept discipline. Now,
that's less inclined to accept.
Well, if we're less inclined to accept it, why are we getting all hot up about a little dirty play? It must, if that reflects the attitude of the community, why should the community get upset about it?
The point, Danny, I'm making is this, that there's no shortcut to success in soccer. And I think the more players are encouraged to show the skills and express themselves on the game, the better type of football we get. And I think, Danny, with all due respect, that Wolverhampton, Tottenham and Manchester United, who have been the most successful teams since the war, played this type of game.
Well, Wolves played a sort of a hard type of game. Don't you think so, Don?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, but that isn't dirty.
This is where the misinterpretation
exactly.
I think Cliff has got a point here about managers and Don. You see, what I think about Don, I respect Don for coming here to talk about this. Most managers won't even talk about this subject. And this, to me, reflects a certain guilt in their part, a certain fear. But he has a responsibility. And I think managers are telling their players to play the game hard. Now, it's easy for a player to misinterpret the word hard.
I agree.
Would you not think so, Don?
Well, I feel that if players don't play it hard, Danny, we'd have never got the ball if we went about hard players alongside us, you and I. We'd have never been able to use our skill.
Yes, but Don, you get players who are naturally hard players and they don't need this encouragement. I think they're already on the brink, and if you're going to instill in them that they must play hard, you're likely to push them over the brink.
We're rather confusing this policy, talking about hard players. What I'm trying to get at is dirty players.
Well, Ken, you see, there is a line, a very razor-like in between. Now, these two teams, probably last Saturday, who went out to play at Everton, both went out to play hard. Now, if two players go into each other hard, and they don't like it, because nobody likes hard play. So there's a little moment in the game, a little moment of friction and pressure, and they both lose their tempers and they fight. Now, the referee sends a player off in 4 minutes. Now, he, in effect, is refereeing hard. So the whole thing blows up. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, because it shows that people are prepared to care about the game, prepared to get upset about it. And the game is a wonderful game because it's emotional. If you take away the maximum wage and all these other things, you leave us with a game that nobody cares about, nobody gets upset about, and this would be a dead game.
But you think money is
not if you take it away, Danny, if you reintroduce it, surely. Yeah.
Well, yes, this is what I mean. I mean, there's a lot of excuses, a lot of rubbish talked about the causes. Yeah. The causes of this are because Don wants to win, the other team wants to win. They talk about playing hard instead of about playing well.
Yeah.
You know, it's a word, a very fine word.
Surely, Mr. Revie, surely you can play hard and play well and not play dirty, can't you?
Well, this is what our team are exactly doing. I think we've introduced the old type of English football back in this country. I feel that just after the war we got down to the continental way of playing, of retreating defences, nobody tackling, and our players going hard for the ball, but not dirty.
Don, you've been accused of being a dirty team now. How do you answer that?
Well, I felt, Danny, that this tag was put onto us last year by the press. One pressman said one game, we had a hard game, I think it was against Preston. The referee called the two teams together, which has been done for many, many years when our game has got out of control. Yeah. And then the press next morning said, hard, dirty leads, and that's how...
I'm very surprised, Don, really, you know, that we're copying these teams abroad because it's openly admitted that defensive football is killing the game in Italy.
I never said that. I said, Cliff, that we'd gone back to the old English type of football at Leeds.
He was doing the opposite thing.
I said, we're doing exactly that.
I see. I'm sorry, Don.
Don't you think when a player does commit an offence, we wait too long before we punish him? For instance, Puskás was sent off, and within a week, he's been suspended for 3 weeks and fined by his club because he was sent off. Do you think this would be a good thing here?
Well, I think personally that apart from players being disciplined, that clubs themselves should be disciplined also, because after all, discipline must follow a player on the field.
Ken, there's a political mix-up.
But are we not drifting away from the man who can really control it? Is the man in the middle of the field?
No, Don,
he's got to have all the help he can get, Don.
Grant, he's got to have help, but if he was full-time and he had the backing and authority, and these players who were sent off or committed bad fouls got double the suspension they're getting now and a heavy fine, would not cut it out.
I agree
with Saturday took very extreme action. As a matter of fact, I think he took perhaps... I wasn't there, but looking at it from a distance, I can't understand how he sent a player off in 4 minutes, and how he stopped the game just 7 minutes before half-time.
It just depends, Danny. What would you do if a player strikes another player? If you were a referee, would you send him off or leave him on?
Well, yes, but you see, 4 minutes is very early. I mean, what went on before that 4 minutes?
Well, there wasn't much time, was there? 4 minutes, he couldn't do much in 4 minutes, but so it must have been a bad incident for him to send the player off.
But anyway, obviously it was a bad incident, but we're not here to judge that one. Let's remember, too, that referees only get 7 guineas for each match.
This is my argument, Ken. This is all wrong.
Well, with thanks to you, Don Revie, you, Cliff Lloyd, and Danny Blanchflower, we'll hope that things get better in the future.
We sincerely hope so. Well, that discussion was recorded earlier this afternoon. Mr. Revie, of course, tonight in Leeds, watching his team play Arsenal, and we'll have the result of that match and others for you later on. But I'm sure the place not to be next Monday evening is in the way of these two. Champion Cassius Clay and challenger Sonny Liston, when they meet for the World Heavyweight crown. Their first meeting, remember, was in February, when Clay, having previously out-talked Liston, went on to outbox him and take his world title. Well, Harry Carpenter was in Miami Beach for that encounter, and this week he's been back to America for Chapter 2, this time to Boston, Massachusetts.
9 months ago, Cassius Clay upset odds of 7-1 and beat Sonny Liston, providing one of the greatest sensations in the long history of boxing. Few people outside of Clay himself and his handlers could really believe what had happened. Now in Boston, they're to meet again. Many boxing authorities, angered at the slick commercial way in which two fighters can monopolize the heavyweight championship, are refusing to recognize this fight. Ironically enough, the city of Boston, which prides itself on its good taste and its dignity, has agreed to stage it. Undeniably, the vast majority of people are fascinated by this return. They want to know whether the first one was just a big fluke. And equally clearly, because of Clay, the figure of Sonny Liston, once described as the most frightening man in the world, no longer seems quite as terrifying. Shunning the bright lights of Boston, Liston has shut himself away, 60 miles to the south, on the rocky coast of Massachusetts. It's almost as though he's paying penance for the last fight. For in that fight, the once menacing reputation of Charles Sonny Liston was utterly shattered. After 6 rounds, he quit the fight, leaving the title in Clay's hands. It was almost unbelievable. The last thing anyone imagined was that Liston, the big, tough ex-convict, would bow out of a fight, tamely squatting on his corner stool. Today, opinion on Liston is shifting. More and more people believe that Liston is an old man, clumsy and slow compared with the nimble Clay. Liston's official age is 30, but he's probably several years older. In training, Liston looks determined, but not always convincing. Never a brilliant conversationalist, his replies to questions are even more truculent than in the past. Clay keeps saying that he thinks his speed beat you in the first fight. Would you agree with that?
No, I wouldn't.
You've been quoted here as saying that he's afraid of you. Is this true? Is this what you think?
Well, I would say he's not as brave as Patterson.
Sonny, what's your opinion of the way this fight will end?
I think I'll come out ahead.
Would you care to tell us what stage of the fight you'll come out ahead?
No making no condition. Prediction. Keeping that a secret for Clay.
Sonny, how much did it hurt you inside when you lost that title?
I can't more than words can explain.
This title means more to you than all the money that goes with it?
Yes, it does.
Despite that sorry showing in Miami, Liston is still the favourite to win. The big, ugly bear, as Clay calls him, is not yet regarded as toothless. But no one is quite so dogmatic now about the chances of Sonny Liston, the man who quit when the going got tough. In his Boston hotel, Clay is signed in the register not as Cassius Clay, but as Muhammad Ali of the Islamic faith, or the Black Muslims, as they're better known in America. Along with his new name, Clay has acquired a host of other new possessions, among them a retinue of attendants, which now numbers 15. He has 2 trainers, 3 sparring partners, a man in charge of the sparring partners, a masseur, a valet, a bodyguard, an odd job man, 3 cooks, and now a professional court jester, the aging Stepin Fetchit, one-time comedian and tap dancer who used to play stooge in films with Shirley Temple. Clay also has his personal chauffeur to drive the immense black air-conditioned Cadillac, which has 9 seats, a gramophone in the dashboard, and 2 telephones.
I like the car. Is this the way you feel a world champion should travel around?
Oh, well, it's just something that I use mostly for traveling.